Sometimes a song can hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, but another song from that era overshadows it and becomes the one that stands the test of time. In this video, we'll look at 8 number 1 songs that were in the biggest hit from their album. Hold It Against Me by Britney Spears. When Britney Spears dropped Hold It Against Me in January 2011, it shot straight to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making her only the second artist ever after Mariah Carey to debut multiple songs directly at number 1. Produced by Max Martin and Dr. Luke, the songs had all the makings of a monster hit, but despite the fast start and topping the iTunes chart worldwide, the song quickly faded from radio and public consciousness faster than most of her other lead singles. It didn't take long from the Femme Fatale album to spawn other hits. Till the World Ends, the second single, became a far bigger success. Even though it only peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, it spent 24 weeks on the chart compared to Hold It Against Me's 17 weeks. It also earned a Grammy nomination and went 3 times platinum in the US. It is considered the defining anthem from that era, much more than the album's initial number 1. Then came I Wanna Go, the third single, which solidified the pattern. Despite only peaking at number 7, it turned into another massive radio hit, dominating top 40 playlists. Throughout the summer of 2011, it has now accumulated close to 200 million streams on Spotify, much more than the lead single, which is sitting on just 80 million streams. In retrospect, while Hold It Against Me had initial hype, but Till the World Ends and I Wanna Go had the staying power, proving that sometimes the biggest songs aren't necessarily the ones that hit number 1 first. Way Too Sexy by Drake. Drake's 2021 album Certified Lover Boy was a streaming juggernaut, but its lead number 1 single Way Too Sexy isn't really the biggest song, debuting at the top of the Billboard Hot 100 because it was released with a viral music video featuring Future and Young Thug. Way Too Sexy had a strong first week, but didn't maintain the momentum compared to other songs from the project. It had mixed reviews when it was released because of that goofy sample. When you look at the real numbers, it became even clearer that Way Too Sexy wasn't really the lasting hit from Certified Lover Boy. On Spotify, it has accumulated 610 million streams. However, Fair Trade, Drake's collaboration with Travis Scott, has become a sleeper hit. Even though it was never released as an official single, it has surpassed Way Too Sexy, with 958 million streams accumulated. That's over 300 million more streams, a big difference. Even without a major push from top 40 radio or a flashy video, Fair Trade has resonated more deeply with Drake's fanbase. It had more organic staying power, and it became a fan favorite, with the lyrics turning into memes and captions everywhere. While Way Too Sexy felt more like a novelty hit, Fair Trade is a song that stuck around from CLB. Heartless by The Weeknd. When The Weeknd dropped Heartless in November 2019, it exploded straight to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was a thumping banger that fit perfectly into his sound, a dark blend of toxic love and partying to numb the pain. Produced by Metro Boomin, it was critically praised for returning The Weeknd to his trilogy era. Upon its release, it topped the charts in its second week. It set the stage for After Hours to become one of the most anticipated albums of 2020. However, while Heartless earned early commercial victory, it wasn't After Hours' signature song. Along with it, The Weeknd released Blinding Lights, a synthwave-inspired anthem that would go on to absolutely dominate the world. Blinding Lights peaked at number 1 too, and went on to break a lot of records. It spent 90 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100, which made it the second longest charting song in Hot 100 history. Heartless, by comparison, had a much shorter chart life and faded from the spotlight faster. Streaming numbers were legendary. As of today, Blinding Lights has over 4.8 billion streams on Spotify, making it the most streamed song ever. Meanwhile, Heartless sits just over 1 billion streams, a huge number for most artists, but a clear gap compared to the album's biggest hit. From the same album, Save Your Tears was also a bigger hit. Heartless was the initial breakout, but Blinding Lights became the song that defined The Weeknd's career. Peaches by Justin Bieber. When Justin Bieber released Justice in March 2021, Peaches featuring Daniel Caesar and Giveon immediately became a hit as the album's lead single. The laid-back R&B banger shot to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming Bieber's 7th chart topper. It became a feel-good anthem for the spring. It was also a streaming monster, racking up over 1.7 billion streams on Spotify to date, making it one of Bieber's most successful singles. However, as time passed, another song from Justice started to gain even more momentum. Ghost, an emotional pop ballad, grew over time. Although it never hit number 1, peaking at number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, it resonated deeply with listeners in a way Peaches didn't. It became a long-term hit across pop radio and earned a longer life. Today, Ghost has surpassed Peaches on Spotify with over 1.9 billion streams and remains a staple of Bieber's live shows. It was also nominated for Song of the Year at the 2022 MTV VMAs and dominated playlists throughout 2022. In the end, Ghost became Justice's true defining song, a reminder that a number 1 hit doesn't always mean the song will have a lasting legacy. Yes and by Ariana Grande. In early 2024, Ariana Grande returned with Yes and, a Madonna-inspired house track that served as the lead single for her album Eternal Sunshine. The song debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it Ari's 8th career chart topper. It was celebrated for its empowerment message and 90s-inspired sound, but despite the quick success, the song's popularity was relatively short. Shortly after the album dropped, attention shifted towards We Can't Be Friends, Wait for Your Love, the second single. The song became a hit, accompanied by a powerful music video that references the movie Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. It felt more of a representation of the album. While Yes and debuted high, but slid down the charts quickly, We Can't Be Friends debuted at number 1 as well, staying near the top of the charts for weeks and outperforming Yes and in both radio play and streaming numbers. We Can't Be Friends is sitting on 1.3 billion streams on Spotify, while Yes and has only reached 624 million streams. Even though Yes and was the lead single, it was We Can't Be Friends that truly captured the spirit of Ariana's Eternal Sunshine era. Just Dance by Lady Gaga. When Lady Gaga first burst onto the scene with Just Dance, it was nothing short of a phenomenon. Released in 2008, the song became her breakout hit, topping the Billboard Hot 100 for 3 weeks. It was a feel-good club anthem that introduced Gaga to the world. Just Dance was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Dance Recording and set her on a fast track to superstardom. It remains one of her most celebrated early singles, racking up an impressive 1.3 billion streams on Spotify as of today. However, despite the massive success of Just Dance, it was Poker Face that truly cemented Gaga's place in pop history. Poker Face wasn't just a hit, it became an era-defining hit, topping the Billboard Hot 100 and winning a Grammy for Best Dance Recording. It also has significantly higher streaming numbers today, with 1.6 billion total streams, which is over 300 million more than Just Dance. The slicker production of Poker Face gave it longer legs internationally and a broader appeal across multiple markets. While Just Dance introduced Lady Gaga, it was Poker Face that defined her early career. Poker Face became the true symbol of the Fame era in terms of both numbers and cultural impact. Single Ladies Put a Ring on It by Beyonce. When Beyonce dropped Single Ladies in 2008, it became a huge hit. It shot straight to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming one of her signature songs. Its iconic black and white music video, featuring the instantly recognizable choreography, turned Single Ladies into a viral phenomenon, years before TikTok made dance challenges standard. Despite its major influence, the song hasn't really aged well, only accumulating 750 million streams on Spotify to date. Meanwhile, the ballad Halo, another single from I Am Sasha Fierce, quietly became Beyonce's true monster hit over time. Even though it only peaked at number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 and didn't hit number 1 like Single Ladies, it ended up having far more longevity. As of today, Halo is Beyonce's most streamed song, with 1.7 billion Spotify streams, nearly 1 billion more streams than Single Ladies. The difference is big, considering how iconic Single Ladies felt at the time of its release. Halo also became a staple at weddings, as it has stood the test of time. In the battle between an upbeat cultural moment and a timeless ballad, the ballad clearly won in the long game. Thank You Next by Ariana Grande. When Ariana dropped Thank You Next in November 2018, it immediately became a cultural phenomenon. The song debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it her first ever chart-topping single. Its massive success was fueled by a viral music video packed with 2000s rom-com nostalgia and the public's fascination with her high-profile breakups. However, despite Thank You Next feeling like the moment. Another single from the same album outperformed it across multiple metrics. 7 Rings, released in January 2019 as the second single, took over the world. It spent 8 weeks on number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, compared to Thank You Next, which only spent 7 weeks at the top. On Spotify, the difference is evident. 7 Rings has amassed over 2.5 billion streams, while Thank You Next lags behind it with around 2 billion streams. Beyond just the numbers, 7 Rings became the signature song of the Thank You Next era. Although the lead single opened the door, 7 Rings ended up having the biggest impact from the album. Which number 1 songs that weren't the biggest hit from their album did I miss? Tell me in the comments below.